In winter, SHTF, the cold becomes your first and most relentless enemy. Before hunger, before dehydration, before chaos, the cold breaks you. It's a harsh reality that many overlook. Hypothermia is not a distant threat, but a present danger, lurking in every icy breath. When the grid goes down in winter, the cold doesn't discriminate. The first 12 hours of a winter grid down situation can become deadly. Hypothermia, cold shock, and a rapid drop in body temperature are the biggest threats during winter survival. These three cold-induced conditions can sneak up on you faster than you'd imagine, especially in a home stripped of its power. Imagine it's 0 degrees outside. The power grid is down, and your home has become a giant ice box. Let's talk about how quickly the cold can break you. Hypothermia, the first of our icy assailants, sets in when your body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body starts to lose heat faster than it can generate it. Shivering, confusion, memory loss, and exhaustion are just the tip of the iceberg. If left unchecked, hypothermia can lead to heart and respiratory failure. Next up, we have cold shock. This is your body's initial response to sudden exposure to cold temperatures. Your heart rate skyrockets, your blood pressure spikes, and you start gasping for air. Cold shock can lead to panic, loss of judgment, and even heart attacks. Now consider that your home is losing heat. Rapidly, your windows, floors, and any poor insulation are letting the cold seep in, turning your once cozy living space into a frosty death trap. Within just 12 hours in a winter grid-down situation, you could be facing life-threatening conditions. But let's not forget about the silent killer, the drop in your body temperature. Once your core temperature starts to fall, your body enters survival mode. It starts to shut down non-essential functions to preserve heat for your vital organs. At this point, you're racing against the clock. And let me tell you, the cold doesn't play fair. Without proper preparation, your home can quickly turn into a death trap. But understanding these threats is the first step to survival. In the face of winter's icy grip, knowledge is your most powerful tool. In the upcoming segments, we'll delve into practical and effective strategies to retain heat, dress appropriately, and make the most out of your resources. Remember, the cold is relentless. It never stops. It waits. It wears you down. But with the right knowledge and preparation, you won't break. You'll endure. Surviving the harsh winter requires you to create a heat zone within your home. Imagine your home as a giant thermal mug, and your goal is to keep the heat from escaping. This may seem like a daunting task, but with the right strategies and materials, it's entirely possible. Firstly, consider reducing your living space. In a winter survival situation, one-room living is essential. This means choosing one area of your home to live in and shutting off the rest. This strategy helps to keep the heat centralized and reduces the loss of warmth to unoccupied spaces. So, how do we create this heat zone? Well, simple items like blankets, tarps, and plastic sheeting can be used to block drafts and insulate walls. Rugs can be placed on floors to reduce heat loss, and furniture can be arranged to create a smaller, more insulated space. If you have a tent, you can even set it up inside this room for an added layer of insulation. Remember, heat rises. So, if you have a multi-level home, your heat zone should ideally be on the upper floor. If that's not possible, create a space where you can sleep off the ground to avoid the cold floor. Now, let's talk about windows. They are notorious for letting heat escape. A simple solution is to cover them with heavy curtains, blankets, or plastic sheeting. The goal is to create a barrier that traps the warm air inside and keeps the cold air out. Another important factor is ventilation. While it's crucial to keep your heat zone insulated, you also need to ensure there's enough ventilation to avoid a buildup of carbon monoxide, especially if you're using a fuel-burning heat source. Lastly, focus on personal warmth. Wearing layers, using sleeping bags, and huddling together can help generate and retain heat. Every degree counts. Remember, retaining every degree of heat is crucial for survival. In a winter survival situation, it's not about maintaining comfort, it's about staying alive. The cold will always be there waiting, but with these strategies, you can keep it at bay and endure. Bad clothing kills faster than bad shelter. This is a survival truth you must take to heart. When the world outside turns into a frozen wasteland, your clothing becomes the first line of defense. Let's talk about layering. It's not just about piling on clothes. It's a strategic system designed to manage your body heat and protect you from the cold. The base layer is your skin's closest friend. Its job is to wick away moisture, keeping you dry from sweat. Synthetic materials like polyester or natural fibers like merino wool excel at this. Avoid cotton, When wet, it loses its insulating properties and can lead to hypothermia. Next is the insulation layer. It's the sandwich filling in your clothing system. This layer traps your body heat, creating a warm air barrier between you and the cold. Fleece, down, or synthetic loft are your go-to materials. They're lightweight, warm, and still insulate when damp. The final piece of this life-saving puzzle is the shell layer. This is your armor against the elements, your shield against wind and water. It should be waterproof, wind-resistant, and breathable to let moisture escape. Now, let's discuss the extremities, your head, hands, and feet. These are heat loss hotspots. A good hat, gloves, and socks are crucial. Look for wool or synthetic materials that wick moisture and insulate even when damp. Scarves are also a smart addition, protecting your neck and face. Remember, the goal here is to stay dry and warm. So, think about your layers. Are they breathable? Are they insulating? Are they protecting you from wind and water? And remember, cotton is not your friend in cold, wet conditions. It absorbs water, takes a long time to dry, and provides little insulation when wet. In a winter survival scenario, your clothing is more than just a fashion statement, it's a life-saving tool. It's your personal shelter, your portable heat source. It's the barrier between you and the unforgiving cold. Proper clothing and layering can be the difference between life and death. So remember, when the cold comes knocking, answer with layers. When the power is out, generating heat becomes a matter of survival. In such scenarios, creativity and resourcefulness can mean the difference between life and death. There are several emergency heating methods you can employ to keep warm. Firstly, candle heaters are a viable option. They're simple to use and can provide a surprising amount of heat. You can make one by stacking ceramic flower pots over a lit candle. The heat from the candle warms the pots, which then radiate that heat outward. Always remember to keep an eye on these makeshift heaters, as they can pose a fire risk if left unattended. Propane heaters are another option you can consider. They are portable and can provide a significant amount of heat. However, they also come with their own set of risks. It's essential to ensure proper ventilation when using propane heaters indoors to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Alcohol stoves are a resourceful heating method, and they can double as a cooking source. They are easy to make using a can and some rubbing alcohol. However, they do produce an open flame, so caution is needed to prevent accidental fires. Boiling water can also provide radiant heat. Once heated, you can put the water in a sturdy container and use it as a heat source. Be careful not to burn yourself when handling the hot water. Throughout all these methods, safety is paramount. Carbon monoxide poisoning, poor ventilation, and fire hazards are all risks associated with these emergency heating methods. Always ensure proper ventilation, and never leave an open flame unattended. Furthermore, there are some DIY heat hacks you can use. For instance, you can insulate your windows with bubble wrap or use reflective foil behind your heat source to direct the heat back into the room. These survival-grade heat retention methods can help maximize the heat you generate. Remember safety first, even when generating heat. Water, the essence of life, can become a tricky resource to manage in the cold. The chill of winter can transform your lifeline into a block of ice, leaving your pipes and containers frozen solid. This is a threat you can't ignore. Imagine waking up to find your water supply no longer flowing. The pipes have frozen overnight, and the containers you thought were safe have become icy tombs. Not only is this an inconvenience, it's a serious risk to your survival. Dehydration is a silent killer, even in the cold. Now let's talk solutions. Snow, the white blanket that covers our world in winter, can be a saving grace. But it's not as simple as scooping it up and having a feast. Eating snow directly can lower your body temperature and lead to hypothermia. Instead, you need to melt it. Collect clean, fresh snow and melt it over a heat source. But what about storage? Insulating your water storage is essential. Wrapping your containers in blankets or clothing can prevent them from freezing. And remember, contamination is a risk. Always ensure your snow is clean and your containers are sanitized. Water, in its simplest form, is a survival tool. But in the winter cold, it's a challenge. It tests your resourcefulness, your foresight, and your will to survive. But with the right knowledge and preparation, you can turn this challenge into an advantage. Proper water management can save your life. Winter survival demands high-calorie intake and efficient fuel management. Why, you may ask? Because your body burns more energy staying warm, and you need to feed that furnace. Now, we're not just talking about any food here, we're talking high-calorie foods. Canned meats, soups, stews, high-fat foods. These are your lifelines. These foods are densely packed with the energy your body needs to fight the cold. They're easy to store, require minimal cooking, and provide a lot of energy. If you can heat them, that's a bonus. A hot meal can do wonders for your morale and your body temperature. But let's not forget about fuel. In a winter SHTF scenario, fuel is like gold. Whether it's propane, butane, alcohol stove fuel, or good old-fashioned wood, you have to make it last. It's not just about having a stockpile, it's about rationing, using just enough to cook your food, warm your shelter, melt your water, not a drop more. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I stretch limited fuel safely? It's all about efficiency. If you're using a wood stove, keep it filled to just the right level. Too much wood and you're wasting fuel. Too little and you're not getting enough heat. If you're using propane, turn it off the moment you're done cooking. Every second counts. And let's not forget about insulation. A well-insulated space will hold in heat, reducing the amount of fuel you need to stay warm. So, think about using blankets, tarps, even plastic sheeting to keep the cold out and the heat in. This is a game of survival, folks. Every ounce of fuel, every bite of food counts. It's not about comfort, it's about making it through the night, through the week, through the winter. Because when it comes to winter survival, it's not the cold that will break you, it's the lack of preparation. Remember, every ounce of fuel and every bite of food counts. Nights are the real enemy in winter survival. The temperature drops, the darkness creeps in, and the cold bites deeper. This is when your survival strategies are truly tested. One of the first things to consider is your feet. Doubling up on socks can make a world of difference, providing an extra layer of insulation against the cold. Woolen socks are the best choice, as they retain heat well and wick away moisture. Another excellent weapon against the biting chill is a hot water bottle. Wrapped in a towel or placed inside your sleeping bag, it can work wonders in keeping you warm. But remember, always make sure the lid is tightly sealed to avoid any unwanted leaks. Surviving the cold is a shared endeavor. Body heat is a valuable resource. Huddling together with others can help conserve warmth and stave off the cold. Your sleeping bag is your fortress against the night. Layering sleeping bags or blankets can dramatically increase their insulation properties, but be wary of moisture. Condensation from your breath can saturate your sleeping gear, reducing its effectiveness. A simple trick is to breathe through a scarf or bandana to minimize moisture buildup. Last but not least, ground insulation is vital. Cold seeps up from the ground, so insulating your sleeping area with blankets, tarps, or even dry leaves can provide a crucial barrier against the cold. With proper preparation, you can survive the longest nights. In winter, SHTF, the cold never stops, it waits, it wears you down. But remember, knowledge is your most potent weapon against the relentless chill. We've covered how swiftly the cold can break you, and the essential steps you need to take inside your home to retain heat. We've learned that one-room living is not just a choice, but a necessity in such circumstances. We've discussed the crucial role of proper clothing and layering. Remember, bad clothing can kill faster than bad shelter. We've also delved into safe emergency heating methods and the importance of understanding their risks. We've shed light on the challenges of procuring water in the icy grip of winter and the steps to melt snow safely, insulate water storage, and prevent contamination. We've underscored the importance of high-calorie foods and the need to ration your fuel smartly and safely. We've explored how to survive the treacherous winter nights, the importance of moisture control, and how to effectively use heat sources like hot water bottles and layered sleeping bags. In the face of winter's harsh onslaught, it's easy to succumb to fear. But remember, calm and calculated preparation is your path to survival. Equip yourself with knowledge, and you'll have the power to combat the cold. But if you understand how to create heat, conserve energy, and control your environment, you won't break, you'll endure.